I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole, the old familiar sting. Try to kill it all away, but I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. And you could have it all. My empire of dirt, I will let you down. I will make you hurt.
Hello, and welcome back to the Give and Go. I'm your co-host Reynoso, here with my boy, Reynoso 2. I hurt myself today. I hurt myself today. Cash, otherwise known as Johnny, says in this song that he hurt himself today. And the reason that song resonates with me so much, the reason I requested producer Red to sit down and give us that masterful performance is because of that one line. I hurt myself today. Didn't hurt himself yesterday, won't hurt himself tomorrow. Pain arrived and it hurt him today. So what does that mean? It's almost as if Cash speaks about pain as a thing that comes by and makes an appearance, knocks on your door, and shows up for just a few hours, maybe a few days, maybe a few months, maybe even years for some people. And so he's documenting this moment of pain arriving at his doorstep and saying, I hurt myself today. Folks, I've been through it all with Chivas. I've been through it all. I was there in 2004, a 9-year-old Reynoso, when Chivas lost against Pumas in a penalty shootout in the Liga MX final in their stadium with a Rafa Medina missed penalty shot that went to fucking Tijuana. And I experienced my first emotion of heartbreak. It wasn't a woman that gave me that feeling. It wasn't, by the grace of God, a death in the family. It wasn't a tragedy. It was Chivas losing a penalty shootout in 2004 when I should have been watching Blue's Clues. I was instead dealing with fucking feelings of trauma, things that I would never be able to overcome in my adult life. 9 years old. 9. As a child. But then you fast forward a couple of years and I experienced some of the most beautiful moments in my life. 2005, I remember I went to Estadio Jalisco, where Chivas used to play before Estadio Akron, and I saw them lose a semifinal matchup in the Copa Libertadores against Atlético Paranaense. As a 10-year-old, I went. I was there. I experienced it. I fell in love with the Rebaño Sagrado. And the following year, they lift their first title in my lifetime, with Osvaldo Sanchez lifting the trophy, the Liga MX trophy, and then Nemesio Diaz against Toluca, beating them 2-1 and giving us the first title that I ever experienced in my lifetime. One of the most beautiful times in my life, man. That Chivas team was absolutely beautiful. I mentioned them before on the podcast. Ramon Morales, Bofo Bautista, Omar Bravo, Manuel Sol, Palencia, Massa Rodriguez, Héctor Reynoso, Osvaldo Sanchez. That team gave me everything. That team gave me everything I ever wanted in life. But I hurt myself today, guys. I hurt myself today. Because the lesson I'm trying to teach you guys is that no matter how high those highs are, the lows will always come back. Such is the game of football, and such is the game of life. Chivas lost 3-2 to Tigres in el Estadio Akron to lose the Liga MX final after leading at one point 2-0. Two fucking nil. I'm hiding a lot of emotions right now, folks. I'm hiding a lot of emotions right now. This is not how I truly feel right now. This smile on my face might as well be fucking makeup. This is fake. This is not real right now. My DMs are exploding. My emotions are demoralizing. My friends and family are worried for me. My people are concerned for me. I'm concerned for myself. Because why? Because I hurt myself today. Chivas was up 2-0, and for a good 30 minutes, I was convinced that we had won the 2022-2023 Liga MX title. La Apertura, La 13 had finally arrived at home, with us defeating Atlas, our local rivals, with us defeating America, our national rivals, and then facing off against a Tigres team that I would have loved to defeat and to really end their dynasty of. You saw how I got perked up there for a second? Y'all saw how I got perked up there for a second? Naturally, I stepped up like I wanted to just get excited. I wanted to shut Soltero's ass up. I wanted to talk shit to a man who looked me across the table, looked me in the eyes, and said that Chivas would never win a title for 10 years, who told me last week that he had Tigres winning this matchup when his best friend, his brother, supports this team, is willing to die for this team. Soltero, with his objective ass mind, looked me in the eyes and said, I love you, bro, but I have Tigres winning this matchup. I love you, bro, but you're going to feel feelings of depression. You're going to suffer next week. I love you, bro, but I'm going to go to your hometown. I'm going to go to Guadalajara, and I'm going to be there amongst the people and infiltrate the people of Guadalajara, knowing that I'm rooting for another team, and I'm going to laugh in your fucking face. And so guess who's not here today? Soltero. Because as destiny would have it, the fucker's in Mexico. The fucker's in Mexico, man. He really just went. He just went, bro. He just went. Man, this dude is so off the grid that he just shows up to the studio, gives his takes, goes home, watches football. He's not on Instagram. He's not on TikTok. He's not on YouTube. He's not on fucking MySpace. He's not on Facebook. He's not on Twitter. He's off the grid. He just watches football, and that's it. Bro, I didn't even know he was in Mexico, man. The only footage I got, the only content I got from him was the other day when he sent me photos of what looks like a badger. Pull up the photos, producer Rod. Y'all tell me what that is. Is that a fucking badger? It looks like a fucking badger, like a honeycomb badger. Or maybe it's an anteater. Maybe. I really don't know what that is, man. I really don't know what that is. But that's all I got from him. That's all I got from him. Until he actually sent me a video during the game when Chivas was up 2-0. And he sent me a video from a bar in Guadalajara. And you have to watch this because the excitement that these fans had perfectly represents what I felt. It's incredible. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. I was telling one of my friends, I said the one way I would describe what happened, the one way I would describe it is yo estaba ilusionado. Ilusionado. Producer Ruck, can you translate that for my English viewers?
It means I was hopeful. I had dreams. I had aspirations.
Ilusionado. Because for a good 60 minutes, I saw the title in our hands. It wasn't that hard to keep it there either. It was not that difficult. But football's a cruel game, man. Football is a cruel, cruel game. And I think that's all I can say for right now. I actually have a video from Soltero who sent his recap, his analysis. And I want to play this video because right now I'm filled up with emotions and I can't really dissect what happened. But Soltero, with his analytical ass mind, definitely can. So let's hear what Soltero had to say about the game.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Soltero reporting live from Guadalajara. That's right, where the Liga MX final just occurred. Let me be honest, though. It's past 3:30 in the morning. I'm pretty shit-faced. I'm drunk. I've been celebrating the Tigres final win for the last 5-6 hours. But let me tell you exactly what happened. Paunovic got scared. This entire postseason, he has taken off Alexis Vega in the 60th to 70th minute. And I've never understood why, because he is your most offensive threat, your most offensive component that you can utilize to attack your opponent. But he's always taken him off. But if you know me, if you watch the podcast, if you understand how I approach football, I always advise against that when you have a lead, because the only way to maintain pressure, to maintain possession, to maintain threat is to keep your most offensive threat on the pitch. And in this case, it was Alexis Vega, but he's always taken him off. But here's what's crazy. He took him off knowing that his opponent in Robert Dante Siboldi had Fernando Gorriarán to come off the bench for Juan Pablo Vigón, to have Nico Ibanez to come off the bench, to provide that impetus for Tigres to keep going, to attack Chivas and get that goal. Now, was the penalty a little harsh? Yes. But was it a penalty? Yes. And Gignac comes through. He's had a really bad season, bad postseason specifically in my opinion, but he still comes through and puts that goal through. It's 2-1. And then guess who? Sebastián Córdoba with that 2-2 equalizer. And he's so on fire. But at this point, you've taken off your most offensive threat. Chivas are against it. Their backs are against the wall. Tigres are now in full position to take the lead. And at this point, I'm pissed. I'm so angry at Chivas because what it comes down to is experience, not knowing the league, because they had a 2-0 lead. But this is what I predicted, and I want to say this right here, right now. I called this. Tigres were going to win this game no matter what, and this is exactly what I had predicted. Now, obviously, where the goal scorer is the way it happened, no, obviously, I'm not going to give myself that credit, but the way that I saw this happening was Tigres had the experience, they had the players, they had the more offensive know-how to attack Chivas. What's frustrating, though, is that Chivas had a 2-0 lead to maintain, but Paunovic got scared, and that's why I'm really, really frustrated here. Tigres ended up deserving this. Congratulations, Tigres, for their 8th title in their history. Congratulations. In the Estadio Akron, in Guadalajara, an incredible victory. But my goodness, man, this was all Chivas' fault. And I want to make that very, very clear. What a game, though. Let's just take all the bias aside, all the predictions outside of this. What a game. Liga MX at its finest. And I have so much more to say. I have so much more to say. But I'm going to wait for it when I return back to the States, when I can get back on that episode. All I can say is, Reynoso, good luck to whatever you have to say. And I'm sorry. Truly, I am sorry. But I did call this. I warned you. Brother. I tried to tell you. You wouldn't listen. But look, man. Hey, Tigres ended up as the winners here in Clausura 2023. Maybe next year, brother. That's all I can say, man. Hey, good luck. Tigres campeones, vamos.
I fucking hate this guy, man. I hate this guy, bro. I hate this guy, bro. He be getting on my nerves. And for so long, bro. For so long. This fucker, dude. This fucking guy. But he's right. I gotta give credit where credit is due. When it came to this specific match, Tigres versus Chivas, Soltero sat down and he said to me that he saw Tigres winning.
I just want to make this very official here. I hate that I have to do this. I hate this. But I think Tigres are actually going to win it.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
No, yes, I do.
No, you don't.
I do. My technical pick on paper is Chivas. My emotional pick, and I do mean this. This isn't a joke.
Yeah.
I truly do think what is going to happen, and I can't explain with football terms until it happens. Okay. I think Tigres are going to win it.
So you did predict the winner of this important final, but I do want to make it clear. Or rather, how about I do this? How about we play a video filmed in January when we made our Liga MX predictions as to who we see winning the title before the season even started? Why don't we play that video? Because I'd love to see what Soltero and what I said prior to the season starting. Let's talk about the Liga MX 2023 Clausura. Bro, I'm going to just start right off the bat. Paunovic has come into this team to reinvigorate this squad with hope to have a Serbian, man. The Serbian leading Chivas, an all-Mexican squad. And I'm just fascinated by this move. Fascinated, man.
Two interesting signings for Cruz Azul. Ramiro Carrera and Augusto Lotti. Two Tucumán players are now going to Cruz Azul to try to help them win the Clausura in 2023.
Pachuca. They'll be starting off this tournament with one of the most informed players. Luis Chavez will be back to compete.
This Pachuca team could honestly have a really good chance at winning the Clausura and getting a bicampeón status.
Two surefire teams that I feel good about being contenders this time around will be America and Tigres. 8 tournaments without a victory. I think we're going to have to start looking at America to finally show up. And if not, might have a little bit of something to say, man. It's time to pick who do we think will win the tournament. I see Tigres getting back to the top and winning Liga MX.
I think America will make another deep run, but this time getting to the final and lifting the trophy.
I think Christmas came early because Reynoso the Reindeer is knocking on our rooftop right now, man. What a call, bro. And all it took for me to change my prediction was Chivas getting red hot and making it to the final. So hopefully that's understandable. But for now, fuck the predictions. Fuck what we said. Let's look at what happened, bro. Let's look at what happened. Roberto Alvarado with one of the most magical postseasons I've ever seen from him and one of the most magical months. If we could have this version of Roberto Alvarado on the national team, we might actually have something. Then you pair that up with Victor Guzman, who came through on a corner kick, wide open. Chivas being incredible from set pieces this whole season. Wide open in the middle of the box, and that's still a tough shot to hit. And he fucking snags that shit, man. He finished it amazingly. So shout out Victor Guzman because after that we go up 2-0. Momentum is completely shifted. And up until halftime, we looked incredible, bro. We looked incredible. Pollo Briseño was defending so well up to that point. Alan Mosa was playing his old classic way. Sepúlveda. Sepúlveda. What a performance. Sepúlveda, bro. You got players like Nene Beltran just putting on a masterclass in that midfield. Also Gonzalez. Also fucking Gonzalez, who I can be a little critical of at times. Played really good in those first 45 minutes. The whole team, man, the whole team was looking so well drilled. And on the flip side, Tigres was lost. Tigres was lost, bro. They looked like baby lions out there. They were in the fucking Amazon dealing with ferocious ass goats that would tear you apart and rip your insides out. But then the second half started. And that second half story, honestly reminiscent of the 2022 FIFA World Cup final. When Argentina, just like Chivas, went up 2-0. And then all of a sudden, a team that looked completely out of it in France and Tigres just finds a way back into the match due to their individual quality. The comparisons are insane, actually. And fuck it. And Argentina got fucked by a French guy. We got fucked by a French guy. Fucking Guignac came out of nowhere and scored a penalty. 2-1. Following that, the hottest player in the tournament, skill-wise, Córdoba gets a beautiful header off of a beautiful pass to make it 2-2. And by that point, as Soltero said, momentum had shifted completely. Alexis Vega gets taken off in the 60th minute. Alan Mozo, who was having a great game, gets taken off for Jesus Sanchez. Questionable, bro. Questionable from Paunovic. And ultimately, I think that's what dictated the game. Just like how America fucked up in that second leg by subbing out all their offensive options and offensive threats, and Chivas eventually took advantage of that. I think the same thing happened with Tigres, man. We fucked up. Paunovic fucked up. And that's where I do agree with Soltero, when he says that. It almost felt like Paunovic doesn't know the league, because you don't do that when you're up 2-0 in Liga MX. Yeah, you can do that in fucking Cyprus. You can do that in fucking Serbia and European football, where the style of play is different and getting 2 goals scored on you is a much different challenge. But in Mexico, bro, they give out goals like fucking churros on the street, man. That shit's available everywhere. And you got to be careful, bro. You got to be careful. And I think Paunovic got a little in his head and overthought it. I think he overthought it. And it ended up punishing him. Guido Pizarro, who I thought was one of the best players for Tigres this match, had a beautiful header to finalize the game and make it 3-2. After that, we really couldn't generate another goal-scoring opportunity. And Tigres, to give them credit, walk into El Estadio Akron, go down 2-0, look as lost as I have seen them this whole postseason, and come back to win the Liga MX title. Their 8th title in league history. La Ocho. And that's incredible. I mean, just putting my feelings aside, Tigres winning this match was fucking incredible. What a storybook ending for them. What a comeback. And what a way to lift the biggest title in Mexico. And to do it with Gignac winning his 5th trophy in 9 years, that's greatness. That's greatness, bro. Even if he is a little washed, even if he is a little out of his element now, a little too old, he did it again, bro. Diego Lainez lifting a trophy. Córdoba lifting a trophy, which is deserved after the postseason he had. If you're a Tigres fan, I just think I'd be losing my mind at the way you went about winning this trophy, because it truly was incredible to do it against a Chivas side that was at home, was rocking, was feeling themselves. The whole national media almost felt like they wanted Chivas to win. And then Tigres just crashed the party and said, you know what? We still have a lot of individual quality. We're still very, very good. And when people doubted us the most in a postseason where we were the 7th seed, man, the 7th fucking seed, coming all the way from the play-in tournament, what a fucking journey. And hats off to Tigres. My respects. Congratulations. At the end of the day, I can respect greatness. I really can. And it just sucks that it came at the fault of Chivas, because Chivas should have won this match. They should have. But they choked it. They fucking choked it. I never would have thought that Arsenal Football Club, Borussia Dortmund, and Chivas would have something in common. I never would have thought. I would have been like, was there a player that played for Chivas and then went to Dortmund and then went to Arsenal? What are you talking about? Why are you bringing these 3 teams? Why are these 3 teams in the same fucking conversation? And as the football gods would have it, they must have had like a meeting upstairs and been like, you know what? Let's find a way to fuck these 3 clubs this season. Let's find a way. Because their fan bases deserve it. Because it'd be fucking funny. Because it'd be really, really fun to clown these 3 clubs. Arsenal losing the lead to Manchester City over the course of like a whole month. Dortmund, which I'll get into in a second, losing the league title to Bundesliga giants Bayern on the final match day. And then Chivas being up 2-0 and losing the Liga MX title. I had a few folks actually DM me and say that they were fans of some of these clubs. Man, I think I had a guy say that he was a Dortmund fan and a Chivas fan. Bruh, can you imagine what that guy's gonna get into this week? Jesus Christ, bro. Prayers up to that guy, dude. Prayers up to him, because what an awful week that man has had. What an awful week. And let's talk about it, bro. Let's talk about it, because Dortmund, my beautiful, beautiful Dortmund, lost the league title to Bayern this weekend. And how they do it? Well, in classic Dortmund fashion. All Dortmund had to do was win their final match against Mainz at home in order to lift the Bundesliga title after a 10-year drought. That's all they needed to do. That's all they needed to do, man. That's it. Bayern, on the other hand, had to win against Cologne and then hope that Dortmund either tied or lost their match. Dortmund had the advantage going into the final match. When else could they actually say that, man? It's so rare to see Dortmund have an opportunity like that. But the way this whole title race has gone in Germany has been so interesting, man, because it's been like our show here. They just give it and they go. Back and forth, back and forth. No one really wants it. No one really wanted the whole season. Bayern would be in front for a few weeks, then Dortmund would get it. Union Berlin at some point was even leading the table. But on the final match day, Dortmund had a chance to take the lead and to win the goddamn title. And I think there's only one person to blame here. I really do. Head coach Edin Terzic. What the hell were you thinking not starting Bellingham, Marco Reus, and fuck it, I'll throw him in there, Gio Reyna as well. 3 of your most important players this season not getting a start in the biggest game of the season. 2 of them specifically, Marco Reus and Bellingham. I know Gio Reyna has just come off the bench a lot this season, so I get it if he wants to do that, and I understand because he came in and provided a really strong impetus. He was very good on the counter, and he even generated that first goal that Dortmund was able to score. So maybe that was a smart move. I'll back off a little bit on that. But Marco Reus, Dortmund legend, Jude Bellingham, bound to be a Madrista, not playing in the biggest game of his league career? The hell is that about? And I think it showed, man. I think it showed because Mainz operated on pure hate. They had no reason to play this hard against Dortmund. They had no reason to essentially defend Bayern and their potential title push. No reason, man. There's no rivalry involved. There's nothing. It was just pure hate. And you gotta respect a hater that's motivated. You really do, because Mainz went out and they got a 2-0 lead that eventually Dortmund just could not overcome. And on the other side, what happens? Bayern go up 1-0 against Cologne. Cologne eventually ties the game through a penalty to make it 1-1. There's 10 minutes left in the German league season. And who steps up for Bayern? Soltero's going to love this one, man. Soltero's going to love this one because he's been defending this man for a while. He's brought it up. He said, fuck Pedri, fuck Gavi, fuck Bellingham, the best youngster in the world, who's already 20 now, so he's not a youngster anymore. Jamal Musiala. Let me say it one more time to this camera. Jamal motherfucking Musiala.
That's his legal name.
The biggest goal in his career. Corner of the box, shimmy as he receives the ball. The way he caught that ball under his leg and just kept it there like there was a magnet placed on his fucking foot. Turns around, generates a little bit of space, takes one dribble, and then it's a beautiful curled low shot to the bottom right corner where the Cologne goalkeeper can't even touch it. One of the most graceful finishes I've seen from Jamal Musiala and the biggest goal of his career to date, in my opinion, because it gave Bayern their 11th Bundesliga title. Their 11th Bundesliga title in a row. In a row. Not in their history. In a fucking row. I hurt myself today. I hurt myself today. That's the theme of today's shoot. I hurt myself today because that's exactly what Dortmund fans were thinking. That's exactly how they felt. The way Chivas fans are feeling right now, that's how Dortmund fans felt. That's probably how they're feeling right now too. I want all Chivas fans, all Dortmund fans, and all Arsenal fans to unite. We got to unite in this time. We got to provide therapy for each other. We got to provide services. We need to take care of our mental health. We need to watch out for each other. Because this offseason, we are all alike. Isn't that the beauty of football? You got 3 different clubs, 3 different fan bases, Germans, English people, and then fucking Mexicans all having one thing in common, and that's heartbreak. That's disappointment. That's disbelief That's hope being crushed.
We hurt ourselves today.
We hurt ourselves today. And so that's why I requested that Johnny Cash song. And then a second shout out to my boy Football Watch 90 on Instagram. So often people that watch the show will send us items such as jerseys, little stickers, football merch, whatever it might be. And Football Watch 90 sent us these beautiful shoes. Look at this. Beautiful, stunning shoe to play football in. I believe it's for like turf and for like different types of surfaces. Bangers, man. Bangers. And I just want to say thank you because it's the first time we received shoes from a viewer of the show. Football Watch 90, thank you, brother. For real, thank you. I'm going to put those to good use. And if you guys would ever like to send us something, DM us on Instagram. We'll get you our contact information so you can send us a little something. So you can send us a little gift, and we'll make sure to give you a shout out on the podcast. All right, folks. Last topic that I want to dig into because, look, I'm alone here. I got producer Rub with me. Great guy. Put on a show for us. You might even sing a few more songs at the end. But it's tough. It's tough to do a solo show. It really is. Especially without my homeboy Soltero here to just bounce back ideas. I'm carrying the fucking team right now, man. And so I got one last topic, and that's the Premier League. Because Reynoso the Reindeer made an appearance. Reynoso the Reindeer for a while has been saying that in the Premier League, and I said this early on this season, the 3 teams that will get relegated this season will not include one of the teams that got promoted this season, which were Fulham, Bournemouth, and Nottingham Forest. Fast forward, the Premier League season has officially ended, and all 3, Fulham, Bournemouth, and Nottingham Forest, have qualified for another season of Premier League football. Throw your horns up. Throw your horns up. Is it horns? What do they have? What do reindeers have?
Antlers.
Antlers? Throw your antlers up. Throw your antlers up, folks. Antlers in the chat.
Antlers.
Because Reynoso the Reindeer just made a masterful prediction, man. I got to give myself credit for that, man. That's a good-ass prediction.
Let's go.
Let's look at what happened, though. Let's look at what happened because instead, we had 3 massive teams, 2 of them, which I think are really big, get relegated. Leeds United, Leicester City, and Southampton all going down to the championship. Brutal, man. Brutal. But it really made me think because I've been seeing posts on Twitter. I've been seeing talk about it. People are asking the question, are we setting ourselves up for one of the weakest Premier League seasons of all time? With all 3 promoted teams staying in the Prem and now 3 newly promoted sides coming in, are we going to have one of the weakest Premier League seasons we've ever seen? And I do think on some level, we will. I do think so. Because it's going to be so top heavy now. It'll essentially, I think what will essentially end up happening is the bottom half, 10 to 20, will become like the championship itself. Will become the championship within the Premier League. The top 10 teams, they're going to be duking it out. It's going to be a close race. It's going to be very fun to watch. But the bottom, I think it's just going to be another championship. Just about who the fuck can stay up because it's going to be pure chaos because of the quality of level that all of these teams will be having. The history to their name. A lot of these teams are fucking new to the Prem, bro. It'll be so interesting to see them just duke it out on a weekly basis and see who can do the best against the top 6 teams in the Prem. And as for the championship, I think there's a genuine chance that all 3 teams that got relegated will find themselves back into the Prem because they're just that good, man. They're that valuable. Leicester City, you look at their squad value, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And considering what they're going to sell this upcoming offseason, they'll probably make like $200 million in transfers. That's so much money to play with in the championship. Likewise, Leeds United has shown that they're not afraid to invest a little bit. Maybe they don't make the best decisions, which I'd love to get Soltero's take on, but they're not afraid to invest. And then Southampton, that's what I'm curious about. That's what I'm truly curious about. I see a couple of players that they have, Ward-Prowse, Lavia going out and getting sold, but outside of that, I really want to see how they approach the championship because they're the one team that I would be afraid that ends up staying there for a while. I could see them staying there for a few good years and then making the move to the Premier League once again. But just crazy, man. Crazy. The scenes of relegation, how demoralizing a lot of those fan bases were. This was a tough week for a lot of people, man. A tough week. And shout out Everton, who was able to stay up in their final game due to a beautiful Decore shot, a strike from outside of the box. beautiful. Just caught it perfectly. Bottom right side corner of the net to give them the 1-0 lead over Bournemouth to qualify for another season of Premier League football. Everton is back for their 70th season in a row in the Premier League. 70, bro. That's insane. Credit to them, because can you imagine how many close calls they've had? How many times they've been on the fucking ropes and just found a way to stay in the biggest league in England or in Britain, the fucking Premier League. Shout out Everton, bro. And so with that, in order to round out the Premier League season, I'd like to present to you guys Reynoso's Premier League team of the season. I've seen Jamie Carragher, I've seen Gary Neville, I've seen people on Twitter do their own iteration of this, and so I'm going to give mine, and I'd love to know yours as well. So if you're in the comment section, if you're watching the video, let me know down below who you think or who you have as your Premier League team of the season. Give me your starting 11. I think it's actually very, very difficult, but a very fun activity, and so I'm going to present mine right now. And I'm going to start all the way at the back at the goalkeeper position. I think it's between two candidates. Nick Pope, who was incredible for Newcastle this season, and I think really representative of how Newcastle was defensively this season. They were massive, bro. They were incredible. All credit to Newcastle, because for as fun as their midfield was and their offensive line, to me, it was their defense that carried them to a Champions League spot. And so massive, man. Massive. That's why I think Nick Pope is getting so much praise and so much credit for that, because he was very, very good. But when I just look at it on an individual skill level, who was better this season? Who had a bigger impact for their team? I do think it was Alisson. I think it was Alisson. And I know that I'm a Liverpool fan and people think I might be biased right now, but I have a stat to back it up. There is a stat out there that actually tracks how many goals a goalkeeper saves per season. Taking into account all the saves he made, the expected goals, the ones that should have gone in but didn't due to amazing goalkeeper save, Alisson leads the Premier League in goals saved this season with, I believe, 10.3. 10 fucking goals. 10. Nick Pope, on the other hand, was middle of the table with 0.3. And like I said, I think there's a lot more credit to be given to his defense rather than Nick Pope himself, because his defense was incredible and truly helped him out. Whereas Liverpool this year was a fucking floodgate. And the fact that they still qualify for a European position at the end of the season, I think is credit to Alisson, because he has an argument for being the best Liverpool player this entire fucking season. Massive, dude. Massive. So that goes to Alisson. Looking now at the defensive line that I have assigned for my Premier League team of the season, man, this one's tough. I think this one's so tough because I think there's like 8 players in total that deserve a shout, that have a good reason to be here. But I don't know. I feel pretty good about mine. I think mine really represents the best of the best. So at right back, I have Trippier. Kieran Trippier. I feel that a Newcastle player has to be in that back line because of how highly I spoke about their defense. Kieran Trippier might have been the best player for Newcastle overall this season. His consistency, his ability on the ball, his IQ has been massive ever since he came from Atletico Madrid over to Newcastle. He has been a revelation, and he's been the poster boy of this new Newcastle movement. In the other fullback position, I had a tough time with this one because I was thinking between Nathan Ake, who was massive for Manchester City, who in a way himself was a revelation too, switching over to that position and just really coming into his own this season, finally under Pep Guardiola. But I think a Manchester United player deserves a shout here, because they made top 4, man. They made top 4, and they deserve some sort of representation. And I think I can show that with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is so consistent, man. This dude is such a workhorse, man. Just a blue-collar left back. Never afraid to do the hard work and the dirty work. And he does it time and time again for Manchester United. So for me, he goes into that left back slot. Let's look at the center backs here to see who earns the selection by Reynoso at the center back position. I'm just going to flat out say my 2 options. I have Ruben Dias representing Manchester City and Saliba representing Arsenal. So I have one player from every top 4 side representing their squad defensively in my back 4, and I think that's very fair. A quick shout out to 2 players, Lisandro Martinez, who also deserves some credit, and then Sven Botman from Newcastle United, also playing very, very well. We move up into the midfield, and I think this is the most obvious of selections. Every Premier League team of the season that I've seen so far has these 3 players. So I'm just going to breeze by them real quick because I don't think there's much else to add here. I don't think there's much debate, to be honest. In that middle slot, in that middle position, call it a center defensive mid position if you'd like, it has to go to Rodri, the best defensive midfielder this year in all of Europe, paired up alongside one of the best players overall in Kevin De Bruyne. And then you throw in Martin Odegaard, who had his best season in the Premier League and the best season in his career, putting up massive numbers statistically and guiding Arsenal to an incredible offensive year. Those 3 players for me are solidified in the midfield. And then finally, up front. I'm going to catch some slack for this one. I already know it. This one's so tough. I think this one's so tough. I don't think there's a right version of this. I don't think there's a correct answer here because of how many options there are in the front 3 positions for the whole fucking Prem, dude. A league that's riddled with offensive talent. It's not fair, man. This one's really, really tough. But there's one option here that isn't, and that's Erling Haaland. 36 goals for Manchester City, breaking the record, the Premier League goal-scoring record of all time, having the dream season, the dream start, just a massive, massive player for the team. I mean, what else do I have to say here? I'm not even going to go into detail, bro. Erling Haaland up front, and so that leaves 2 spots now for 2 wingers. The problem is, though, that I think the person that deserves the second most amount of credit right behind Erling Haaland is Harry Kane. Harry Kane deserves to be in that front 3, man. 30 goals for a lifeless Tottenham team. There's an argument to be made. Scoring 30 goals for Tottenham is way more impressive than scoring 36 goals for Manchester City. You put Harry Kane in that Manchester City squad, I wonder what happens. I wonder. Because 30 goals with Heung-min Son not firing the way that he usually does. Kulusevski falling off of the goddamn map. Bryan Hill going over to Sevilla. Højbjerg not knowing how to score a goddamn goal. Bentancur going down mid-season. How does Harry Kane do it? How does he do it? He deserves to be in the front 3. The problem is, I'm not putting him in because I don't know how, bro. That fool's not a winger. He's not a fucking winger. And so I'm sorry, Harry, but you're going on the bench. You're going on the bench. I gave you 3 minutes of credit on this fucking show. You're going on the bench, brother. I'm sorry. Sit your ass down. Instead, in that right wing position, I'm going Mo Salah. It has to be, right? It has to be. It was either him or Bukayo Saka. He was incredible this season. A double-double. 15 goals, 11 assists, I believe. Insane numbers. Insane for a Arsenal squad that finished in second place. But Mo Salah putting up damn near similar numbers, if not more, for a Liverpool team that really needed those goals, by the way. That really relied on Mo Salah to show up every single week with his consistency, with his durability, and his ability to just generate these goal-scoring opportunities. I'm going to give it to Mo once again because I think it takes a little bit more to trump a player as established as Mo Salah in that right wing position. And since he didn't have a down year at the end of the day, that's still his spot to lose. And so I'm going Mo Salah on the right wing. And on the left wing, I am going Gabriel Martinelli. Have you seen this dude's numbers? They don't make sense. I had no fucking idea he scored 15 goals this year. 15 on the left wing at 21 years old. 21 years old, 15 goals. Martinelli deserves some love, bro. And I'm not really seeing it. I'm seeing a lot of love for Bukayo Saka. I really am. But Martinelli, if he doesn't have the rise that he had this year, Arsenal is nowhere near to top 2 in the Premier League. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. Martinelli can be such a threat on the wing. He can be so creative at times, so unpredictable. The Jimmy Neutron Sheen look-alike, if you will, having himself a hell of a year. earning himself a selection into Reynoso the Reindeer's Premier League squad of the season. And so let me know, folks. Let me know in the bottom, what do you think about my Premier League team of the season? Let me know what your team of the season is. And let's have a discussion, man, because I think this is such a fun topic, bro. And so with that, I bid you folks adieu. Chivas ends the season in second place. Arsenal ends the season in second place. And Dortmund ends the season in second place. I'll finish the podcast with these words. I hurt myself today. Think about that, guys. Think about that. Think about what I said earlier in the podcast. And think about what that song represents and what it means in the context of football. Because pain will come and go, but our love for the sport will never waver. And even though Chivas lost, and even though Arsenal lost, and even though Dortmund lost, we're going to keep watching. Shit ain't going to change. We'll be back next season. I'm not even worried about that. And we'll be competing for a title once again. That goes for all three teams. So keep your head up, folks, because although you feel pain today, that doesn't mean you're going to feel it tomorrow. I want to end this podcast with one final song from producer Rudd, putting him on the spot here. Any song you got in your repertoire that falls in line with these themes, send us out, producer Rudd. Show us what you got. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify, and I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy this song.
If I leave here tomorrow, yeah, would you still remember me? For I must be traveling on now, yeah. There's too many places I gotta see. But if I stay here with you, girl, yeah, things just couldn't be the same. 'Cause I'm as free as a bird now.
Yeah.
And this burn you cannot change. Whoa, 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 whoa. And this burn you cannot change.
Let me take this one, producer Rudd. Let me take this one. Cause I'm as free.
And this burn you cannot change. Oh, and this burn you cannot change. Keep your head up, boys. We'll be back next year.